at this last episode of 1,000-Pound Sisters, we see Amy and her man Brian, and they pull up to the eye doctor's office because Amy is trying to get her eye, her wandering eye that she has had an issue with since she was a child. She's trying to get that eye fixed and straightened out. But unfortunately, once the doctor started looking at her eyes, he's like, look, not only is one of your eyes messed up, but now both of them, because I guess she has just gone so long with her eyes being messed up that it started affecting the other one too, trying to keep up with the other one. I'm surprised her mother never took her to see a doctor after she was 13 years old. I mean, I know they didn't have a lot of money, but you would think that they would have Medicaid or some kind of like insurance that was covered by the state. And I'm surprised that the mom didn't try to get that straightened out. And Amy revealed that her mom used to sleep with a litter box underneath her bed while she was pregnant with Amy, which I don't understand. Is it something like where you're obsessed with the smell and that's why you want to be around the litter box? Or is it just the case that she was too lazy, so she put the litter box underneath her bed so she didn't have to walk for it to clean it out? Here's the thing though. Amy wants to have this eye surgery because she wants to feel like a beautiful bride with perfect eyes on her wedding day, but she waited way too long. She should have did this like at least 6 months to a year before her wedding. Well, I guess she didn't really know Brian that well, like a year before, but still, she should have tried to plan this more in advance instead of waiting 10 days before she's getting married. And even the doctor told her, look, you're not going to see immediate results. He explained when she first goes home, her eyes are going to be crooked and her eyes are going to be very red for at least a few weeks after her surgery. And she's freaking out because she only has 10 days. And I think she's really pushing it because especially with eye surgeries, that is such an invasive surgery. I've heard so many horror stories, like for LASIK eye surgery, for example. I know that's not what she's having, but there is so many people who had like LASIK surgery. Like I heard of this guy who's a police officer who decided to get LASIK eye surgery, and after he had LASIK eye surgery, instead of helping him, I guess it ended up causing him to go blind, and he was unable to see after that. He was no longer able to work as a police officer, and he eventually ended up taking his life. And there's a lot of people out there who have taken their lives after having like unsuccessful LASIK eye surgery. So after hearing stories like that, I'm like thinking the absolute worst for Amy and just hoping to God that everything works out, because what if she was to become blind and then she can't even see herself walking down the wedding aisle or even look at her wedding pictures? And so she ends up looking at everything with the doctor, and she decided to get the surgery. She gets the surgery. After it's all done, everything was great. She was really out of it, but she was very excited to go home and finally have her vision straightened out. And her eye, you could see a big difference just right after the surgery. Good for Amy for getting this surgery though, because I bet she has so much more self-confidence now. And then we see Tammy, and she meets up with her mother to have lunch, and Tammy explained that apparently she has been off the chain lately. You know, she told, or Andrea told us, that she ripped off all the doors off all the closets, having a full-on breakdown when she got mad at Andrea. And her and Andrea haven't even been together that long for Tammy to be acting like this. So Tammy decided to go to the doctor and try to get to the bottom of things, because Andrea told her, girl, if you don't get your shit together, I'm done with you. And I feel like if it wasn't for Andrea giving her that push, she wouldn't have done anything about it. So she went to the doctor, and she found out that the medicine she's been on, they're pretty much still giving her the same dose that they were giving her when she was like 700 pounds. So they need to drastically cut back on the amount of medication she's getting, and they're blaming that for the reason why her emotions are all over the place. And I'm sure that could be a contributing factor, but I also don't think that it's fair to blame all of the way that Tammy has been acting on her medicine, because Tammy has been like this since the beginning. Since we were first introduced to her on the show, she has always had a very ugly, nasty ass attitude since the begin, and she is blaming it all on the medication. But like, I saw some people on Reddit talking about this, and I felt like one person said something very insightful, that they kind of feel like Tammy thought, okay, let me just lose all this weight, and once I lose all this weight, this is going to be the answer to all my problems. And then she lost all this weight, and she still feels the same way about herself. Like, yes, I'm sure her self-confidence has improved, but unless you get counseling and stuff like that, you're not going to heal the inside. You may look better on the outside, but you're still damaged and hurt on the inside, and Tammy has to do the internal work as she wants to change. And she ends up going out to eat with her mom, and then after that we see all of Amy's bridesmaids except Tammy. We saw her friend Lily and Brittany and Misty, and they're all trying on their wedding dress or their bridesmaid dresses. At first I'm like, ew, those dresses are ugly, but after I saw how they looked when they were actually at Amy's wedding, they actually looked really good once they what's the word for it? Once they, you know, like stitched and hemmed the dresses, they looked a lot better. I would share a picture of them, but it was posted by TMZ, and TMZ is notorious for doing copyright claims. So if you want to find the picture, you can look it up on TMZ. But yeah, the dresses actually looked really good after they were done with. And then we see Amy and the whole family and all her friends, and they meet up for the wedding rehearsal. But here's the thing. Amy decides that she wants the boys to be the ring bearers, I guess, and the flower boys. Which, I mean, if I was in her position, I would probably want to do the same thing and have my kids involved in the wedding. Like, why find another young kid when I can have my own kids do it? But here's the thing, her boys are off the chain. They go to this wedding rehearsal, and they're all trying to focus on, like, where they should be standing and the position and who does what. But instead, all they're focused on is the boys, because the boys are all over the place. And I get it, because I have 2 toddlers that are Amy's kids' ages. And anytime I take them to a new place, oh my gosh, they go crazy because it's something new to them. They just want to explore. They want to see everything that's going on. And then when you have toddlers like Amy does that are so close in age, they feed off each other's energy. So when you have one acting crazy and all hyper and all over the place, the other kid's going to feed off that too, and then you're going to have double trouble. So Amy couldn't take it. She starts breaking down crying because she kept trying to get the boys to stop, and they wouldn't stop. If that was Amy, I would have just had somebody watch the boys for the rehearsal, and then I would have just had a babysitter that I hired, and then maybe have them bring the boys in just to do the little, you know, throw the flowers and carry the ring, but had them take the boys immediately after, because there's just no way the boys are going to want to sit through a whole wedding and stay seated. Like, they're probably going to be what everyone's mainly focused on instead of Amy, because they're probably going to be all over the place. Like, they need somebody to just focus on them and them only. Like, the wedding planner was like, don't worry, Amy, you have all your family and friends here to help. And I'm sure they're willing to help, but they're also involved in the wedding too. And I mean, they're not getting paid to be the babysitter, and they got to do stuff as well, and dealing with these 2 boys is a full-time job. So she just needs to hire somebody to specifically deal with that. And I really felt for Amy, because she was breaking down and she's like, oh, these boys are crazy. And I mean, I really felt that as a mother. I think every mother has experienced that, and I really related to Amy dealing with that and how overwhelmed she was. And I think she also should have brought something to distract the boys. I mean, the boys didn't have no toys, they didn't have no tablets. I know tablets aren't the best for children, but still, having something for them to be distracted. But even then, even if they had that, with this being a new place, they still probably would have went crazy. I don't like diagnosing people, but I can't help but wonder if her oldest son, Gage, has some form of autism, because it seems like he has a mild speech delay. And it just seems like he's so hyperactive all the time and can't calm down. And I mean, that comes along with that age. But I had a daughter that was the same exact way. And after looking at all those symptoms and getting her tested, I found out she has autism. And a lot of the symptoms I see with her, I see Gage doing. And that may be something that he needs to get looked into, and that might help him eventually be able to calm down. But I hope Amy's wedding goes good, because she does not need this kind of stress on her wedding day. But that is it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think about this episode in the comments below, and thank you so much for watching.